Hello fellow aviators, welcome to JPLAviation, where leadership and aviation take off. As you can see, I've been kind of growing a beard in quarantine, and I don't know how I feel about it. I cut my hair back a little bit, so I might look like a middle-aged man. But the point is, I'm starting my IFR journey, and I started it today. So what does that mean? It means IFR Journey videos are now coming out. I'm going to document my process from day one all the way until I get my IFR rating, which I will, and the amount of time, well, that's up to me and how I study. Well, you see, I'm going to post unedited raw video form as best as I can of the video and footage I get from my lessons. My first lesson was on a simulator, a basic aviation training device, with my CFII named Matt from Fun Outside Aviation in Fullerton. So hope you guys enjoy and go check it out.
Cool beans.
Alright, so let's go ahead and you can go ahead and turn on the panel master. See that key right there? Go ahead and turn it on. Turn on the radio master as well. It's the white button over here on the right, just above the yoke. Alright. And sometimes this takes a little bit of work to get it going.
Oh, it's all. I see.
Yeah, so let's see here.
Should I be having a checklist out for this, or just we gonna?
No, we're just gonna do straight level flights, and I'll kind of just let you know what we're looking out for.
So this is a basic ATD, right?
Yeah, it's a basic ATD. So.
And it has the ability that we can probably just start anywhere within phases of flight.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I can just put us at altitude so you don't have to take off or anything. I'll just put us in IMC.
Cool.
And then we'll start from there. So let's try this out.
Sounds good.
5906, 3 miles from Kearney, fly heading 110, maintain 2,200 until established. Cleared for the ILS runway 7 approach. Contact the tower now on 118.
Alright, wait.
There we go.
That'll be good.
Let's put you at altitude. I'll put you at. Put you at 4,000.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll put you at 4. I'll put you at 4. So you know, with IFR now, instead of VFR, if you're cruising altitudes instead of the 1,000, that's going to be everything even now. So 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. So I'll put you at 4 for now.
So yeah, basically what I was reading about in the attitude instrument scanning, you got your radial scan, you got your V scan, and then you got your rectangular scan depending on the phase of flight.
Exactly. The biggest instrument you're going to be using in the instrument is going to be your attitude indicator. Why? Because just by that instrument alone, you're going to be able to see if you're descending, you're going to be able to see if you're climbing, you're going to be able to see if you're banking or not. You'll be able to see if you're banking while climbing, you're banking while descending. So the first instrument, you're going to always want to look at your attitude indicator. And that's why it's kind of based upon that. You know, you have your inverted V, where you look your attitude indicator down to your coordinator, back in, turn coordinator to your vertical speed indicator and back in. Then you have your radial, right? Radial, which is also based on the attitude indicator. You would look at your attitude indicator, look at your altimeter, and you could do this in any way. It doesn't really matter. Just like boom, 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 boom. Rectangular, which is, you know, it's kind of what it means is left and down, like that, or you can do it in the opposite direction too. You can do it like that. When you get through this, you're gonna kind of see what your preference is and how you do it. But the main thing is to have that visual scan going. Just don't be fixated on one instrument. So if you do that, let's say if you're fixated on your directional gyro, then you're not paying attention to see if you're climbing or you're descending. You're not seeing if you're going to get faster or you're slower than you're supposed to be. So just make sure not to fixate. That's like a common error with some students, is they fixate on one instrument. Just get that visual scan going and then you'll be good.
Cool. And is there a recommendation scan for each phase of flight that I should be memorizing?
Straight and level, just go attitude indicator, and then you can reference off to the other ones. That's how I kind of do it, and that's kind of I've seen with other students to kind of have successful too. Start off with the attitude indicator, and you can reference the other ones. So let's get you started here. I'll put you at 4,000 airspeed. Let's go with just like 85 for now. Okay, so you turn on the battery master there. Okay, the master is on. Yep, we got that on there. And let's see, put the power up. Push forward. There we go. So let's see, yeah. So right now you can just put up the power. Just put it up to about like 1900 RPM. just right now, just do a heading of like, let's not put on the autopilot. So just do a heading of 240 for now, and just slow corrections. Yeah, this simulator is really sensitive. So yeah, so 240 right there, and just try to keep it like at 4,000, 4,100. And just start based off your attitude indicator, right? So right now you're kind of just looking at starting to go down a little bit. You can look at your vertical speed. So now that it's going to drop. So now you just want to start descent. You got to keep it at 4,000. And you can use your power to level off. So you feel like you're starting to descend a little bit. Just put in a little bit of power, and that should keep you level. So yeah, just keep it at 240 for now, and just get your scan going. Now I got my attitude indicator. Looks like it's level. Oh, then my airspeed right now is starting to drop a little bit. That means, or it's starting to rise a little bit. That means you're starting to descend. So you kind of just keep a virtual scan going. You just read your instruments, interpret them, and just kind of make the small corrections in there. Yeah, so just try to keep it there. Keep it on 240. Keep your airspeed at about 85 knots and altitude of 4,000.
Is there a trim in this thing? Or is it just...
Yeah, there is trim. I don't even know how they use it on here. I recommend not using that trim on this thing because it sucks. Like I said, this sim too, it's not as realistic as the actual plane. So once you get in the plane, you'll see that it's much easier. All right, so let's do a right turn to heading 300. And for IFR, just make the standard rate turn is where you want to be. So where you have that wing on the turn coordinator right there, that's a standard rate turn. So standard rate turn.
300?
Yeah, 300. Standard rate turn is basically 2 degrees per second, or it's a full 360 degrees in 2 minutes. So you're going to be hearing that term a lot, standard rate turn. That's in IFR whenever you're in IMC. That's the most you ever want to turn is standard rate. Alright, good. Yeah, so you're at 300 there. Just try to hold the altitude a little bit. If you see yourself getting a little slow, 80 knots is fine. If you get any slower, you can just add a little bit of power. Yeah. And that's like another thing too, like when you're reading on chapter 6, it's all interpretation. So if you see like your airspeed starting to slow down a little bit, oh, that means I'm climbing, right? Or if you see your airspeed start to get really fast, that means you're descending. So just interpretation, look at your attitude indicator, and then you can kind of just go from there. So 300, there you go, just keep that 4,000, 80 knots. Now, big thing in instrument too, you're gonna see is the workload can get pretty high. So like, whenever, especially when you're doing instrument approaches, you're gonna be on headings, you're gonna be on altitudes, and you're also gonna be communicating with controllers too. So that's something I'll help you with too when you first start doing the flights. Don't worry about doing all that stuff. Kind of just ease you into doing all that stuff. But as of right now, just kind of just worry on flying the plane. Okay, 300. Let's do heading back to left turn 240, altitude 4,000. Yeah, just keep standard rate. Here we go. Standard rate typically is about like 15 degrees of bank. You don't have to go more than that. Yeah, it's okay. You can just ease out the power a little bit. Put it like that to like 1900. That'll drop it a little bit.
And they try to make the yoke realistic, but it's just like a constant.
Yeah, exactly. The sim, you'll see in the plane, it's way simpler in the plane. The plane, like especially, I mean, you know what the Cessna, the plane wants to fly itself.
It's like a normal plane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This I'm like constantly pushing the yoke.
Right. Yeah, 240, there you go. So yeah, just kind of just push down. You can pitch down a little bit to get back to 4,000. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, your power, did you go ahead and see what your power instruments, when you kind of read over chapter 6, what it was saying?
Say again?
Your power instruments, what would your power instruments be?
Oh, you have your
tachometer,
yeah.
And then your airspeed indicator, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, manifold pressure gauge, you don't have to worry about that because, you know, that's for a twin. So, yeah, Cessna, you won't have to worry about that. Your control instruments will be your attitude indicator, altimeter, HSI, not HSI, your heading indicator. So, and then bank instruments, again, the first thing you would look at is your attitude indicator, and supporting would be like your heading indicator and your trip coordinator. Okay, so cool. Yeah, 240 up to 4,000. Let's do a climb. Let's do a climb up to 5,000. So what we're gonna do is add full power, VY speed, and just slowly pitch up.
74, you said?
Yep, 74. Yeah, there's a little bit of delay on this thing.
I'm all the way forward.
Yeah. So, yeah, this sim is a little delayed, so it takes a little bit of time. And each line at the top there is 10 degrees of pitch, so you'll be surprised how much that really is in the plane compared to bank. 10-20 degrees of bank is, you know, it's pretty standard, but going anything past like 10 degrees of pitch up is pretty high in the plane.
Okay.
So.
So we're getting 1,500 feet of vertical climb there for a second.
Yeah.
Pretty good for a second.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, let's go up to 5,000, and you know, just kind of just lead it off once you get closer to there. So when you're in your climber, we're looking at our attitude indicator and we're looking at our airspeed indicator, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of just reference it with our altimeter as well, and our vertical speed indicator. Alright, 50 feet depth, there you go. You can start to reduce the power, slowly start pushing down.
It's a little bit delayed.
Yeah.
No, too much.
Yeah. Squeeze out a little bit more power, there you go. Yeah, the sim is usually likes to be around like 1900, 2000 RPM when you're cruising. So there you go. Alright, good. Yeah, 74, 5,000, good. Alright. So yeah, when you're climbing, you're just looking at your attitude indicator, look at your airspeed indicator. Those are like the two main ones to look at. Just to make sure you're getting a good climb rate. So let's go back down. Let's do a descent now. So let's pull power to about 1,500. Let's go down back to 4,000 on a heading 240. Yep, and just let the plane drop. It'll just start to drop automatically when you pull the power out. Heading 240. Let's go down to 4. Yeah, at this point in the plane too, we'll obviously be using a little bit of trim that would help you out as well. Okay, descent, we want to be at about 90 knots.
Oh, 90?
Yeah. So, yeah, if you gotta put a little bit of power in, you can. But comfortable descent, the Cessna is about 90 knots.
Oh, you said 4,000?
4,000, yeah.
550 minutes. Push the yoke all the way forward, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh.
you got, it's like super small corrections. This thing is kind of messed up sometimes. But yeah, good. Keeping your heading out. Airspeed looks good. And comfortable to say, yeah, 500 feet per minute is perfect. Good. That's like the biggest thing about IFR. When you're doing cross country, is like the controller just want to see that you can hold your altitude and hold your headings.
The yoke is all the way in, but it has hands.
Yeah.
This thing does have a trim though.
It does. Let's see where they have the trim on here.
Yeah.
Feels like
I feel like it might
Let's
be.
see.
Cause like I'm all the way forward and it still goes up
Yeah.
if I like let go, see like that. So I feel like
Oh, that's right.
you know what I'm saying? So I feel like the
Right.
trim is up.
It could be. Let's see. I don't know where Garrett has his trim on this thing. There's rudder trim right there. I don't know where the regular trim is at. Let's see. 40 years instrument.
That's what it probably feels really heavy.
Yeah.
It's trimmed up.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he has a trim on his thing.
It's definitely trimmed up.
Yeah. Just the trim. So
Oh, there it is.
I think you gotta do it on the mouse.
Ah, that's much better.
Yeah.
I was writing with it so hard. That's perfect.
I mean, is that good or is that too much?
That's fine. Oops, but
Yeah, let's go back up to 4. And then on the next one we'll just do a climbing turn. Alright, so yeah, let's go ahead and level out to 4,000. Alright, there we go. Yeah, so we can start slowing down, using out that power. And you gotta really play with the trim on this thing.
Yeah.
Alright, there we go. Alright, 4,000 level. Do a little bit more up trim.
I like where it's going down.
Yeah. Let me put it back within the neutral position. Alright, we'll say we're level up 4 right now. Let's go ahead and do a climbing left turn. Let's do a left turn at heading 150. So let's go ahead and put full power.
Turn to 150.
Yep, left turn 150, full power. Let's pitch out to VY speed and standard rate turn. So just looking at your turn coordinator when the wings are level on the bottom white one. There you go.
What altitude am I going to?
Yep, we're going up to 5,000. Alright, good. There's 150. And we're just going to keep climbing up to 5. Yep, a little too much switch up.
Probably about 10 degrees. Right?
Yeah, 10 to 15 degrees is where you want to be at. So, yeah, when we're doing climbs and turns, like I said, just look at your attitude indicator. Just kind of show at 10, each mark is 10 degrees, right? So 10, 20, 30 for the bank. And then same for the pitch up. It shows you 10 and 20. So look at your attitude indicator, and then you can reference it with your HSI to see that you are climbing. Alright, and then coming up to 5. It's slow, it's already using up that power.
Nope.
Like I said, if you can master the simulator, when it comes to the plane, it's like super easy.
For when I get up to the altitude, it's so I'm pulling the power back as I'm pitching forward. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, you're just timing it out. So like a good kind of do it is when you're about like 50 feet below your altitude or 50 feet above it, depending if you're climbing or descending. And you just slowly ease out that power and slowly pitch out, and that should put you on your altitude. Yep, there you go, 5,000. Yep, just go ahead and keep it straight and level.
Can you run those up a little bit?
It's still going down.
So, feels like.
Yeah, the German's super sensitive last thing. You give it like 1 or 2 spins and it just goes in the opposite direction. Alright, there we go. 5,000, airspeed at 90 knots, it's looking good. Okay, let's do a descending turn this time. So let's go back down to 4, reduce power, and let's go to right heading 240.
To the right?
Yep. Yep, small corrections. Standard rate turn, there you go, perfect. And down to 240, right heading 240, down to 4,000. Yep, so just referencing our attitude indicator, and we just check that with our turn coordinator, our heading indicator, and then we can look at our airspeed too, make sure it's a comfortable descent. And there's 240 there, there you go. And going down to 4,000. So let's say we're going down, right? Let's say we're on there, and then our airspeed indicator just freezes. What's something that you think that would be happening?
Ice on
Good.
the Vito.
Yep. So what will we do?
We'd be using altimeter as a. I mean, so what would we do? We'll
Yeah. So let's say,
heat.
yeah, good. Yeah, we put our pitot heat on. There you go. Good. And hopefully that melts off the ice. It's inside the pitot tube or around it, and we can get our airspeed indicator back. Yeah, the big thing in IFR too is freezing levels. So that's something that we always have to pay attention to whenever we're flying IFR, because how do we get ice on the wings? We're at a freezing level temperature, and there's moisture around, right?
Visible moisture.
Visible moisture, yeah. So exactly. So, yeah, we always want to look at our winds aloft before everyone like across country to make sure that our freezing levels are above our altitude, or there's just no clouds that are in the area.
We're gonna nose down pitch a little bit.
Good.
Better.
Alright, so almost there yet. You just slowly start easing in some power. Yeah, slowly start pitching up to keep it at 4,000. Alright, cool. Okay, so let's just show you. We did turns to headings, climbs, turns, descents. Let's just work on standard rate for now. So let's just do a full 360. Let's do it to the left. Yeah, left standard rate turn, and we're going to do a full 360 back to 240. Try to maintain our altitude and maintain our airspeed. Yep, and keep it standard right, there you go.
The nose up a little bit. A little bit more nose up.
More goes up, okay. There we go, it's better. Yep, so you'll find if you keep a standard rate turn for a full 360, it should be at almost around exactly 2 minutes.
2 degrees per second. I mean, yeah.
2 degrees per second. Yeah. Actually, it might be
It's
3.
it's
It might be 3 degrees. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
does the computer have a program where it's like it's putting in different winds too as I'm flying?
Yeah, I think you can do that.
Well, I was thinking because it's like I was in like straight level. I mean, I was turning, and then all of a sudden like the control input was different.
No, I don't think I have it in winds right now, but you could definitely change it if you wanted to. But yeah, as of right now, we just keep it simple. All right, 240, we got that. Keep good, keeping it at 4,000, keeping the level. All right, let's do the same thing to the right now, standard rate. So you usually find the standard rate turn if you look at your attitude indicator. It's typically around 15 degrees today.
Yeah, I noticed I have to force myself to use the VSI a little more.
Yeah,
So I look at the
definitely.
altimeter and turn according to your attitude a lot, and
Yeah.
there's people I was like, gotta make sure I go down to the.
Right. Yeah, that's a big tendency, is just fixating on some of the instruments. It's just a good thing is to keep that general scan going. Alright, let's keep going. 12240. Alright, good. 240, yep, keep your altitude, that's good. Okay, so I'm not going to actually just show you unusual attitudes, but to kind of just show me what would happen. Let's say you're an IMC and you look at your attitude indicator and all you see is blue. How do you recover from it?
Down, nose down.
Nose down, and what else?
We got a wings level.
Okay, wings level, and what else?
You're in the blue, so
all the way
no
to the
power.
blue. Yep, exactly. So you add full power, nose down, and wings level till you get back to a safe cruising airspeed, and then you can just go back to cruise from there. Okay, so you look up and you see nothing but brown on your attitude indicator. What's the procedure to recover?
You gotta go full power and then.
Nope. If you're looking, if you're nose down.
Raise the nose,
Mm-hmm.
level the wings, and then add power.
No. So if you're on the way down, your nose down, you're gonna put power to idle. You're gonna wings level and then slowly pitch up. That way you can kind of just get your airspeed back to work. Because if it goes down, you're gonna see your airspeed is gonna be really, really high. So all you can do is just full power, wings level, and then pitch up. You're gonna see your airspeed start to slowly die down, get it to a comfortable airspeed, and then you can just cruise it out from there. But yeah.
Like when I do unusual attitudes and like on my check ride and stuff,
Yeah.
I don't really like think about that. I kind of just react to the instrument. So if I
Okay.
did see, you know what I'm saying, like the process of it, like if
Yeah.
I saw it was really high, I'd pull the power back and like
Right.
so. Thinking about it that way is like
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
that's just how
Yeah.
I thought about it.
Yeah, there's definitely other ways to do it too. Like if you want to look at your attitude indicator,
Sight
you
picture.
can.
That's the word for it. I look at the sight picture.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. On your instrument check ride, they're just gonna have you just look at your. They're gonna have you look at your attitude indicator or your airspeed. The last examiner will ask you. Okay, so look at your attitude indicator, or have you look at your airspeed. So If your airspeed is really slow, that means you're going to be in a nose up, high unusual attitude, right? If your airspeed is really fast, that means you're going to be in a nose down. So you just do the correct procedure. Yeah, exactly. All right, so yeah, we pretty much did all the basic maneuvers here. I'm going to freeze it real quick, and I'll just show you some approaches. So let's look at Long Beach. Did you get a chance to kind of just look over some different approaches?
I have not yet in the local area.
Okay, all right. So let's kind of just look at the ILS Long Beach. So I think in our next flight, we can start practicing some approaches too. I'll kind of give you, a little small grab before we actually get on the plane and start doing this. But this is your basic IFR plate, your basic approach plate here. So I'll kind of break it down for you. So this here is going to show the name of the approach that we're doing, the ILS or localizer runway 30.
Yeah.
Airport that we're doing it's in Long Beach, Dougherty, and it gives you the airport code right there as well.
You want to actually ask me questions about it because I think I know these decent amounts. So if you want to kind of format it
absolutely.
that way.
Okay, so what would be our localizer frequency on here?
Localizer frequency would be LRC 110.3.
Yep, exactly. So where will we put that in as far as our comps? Where we
To
put
our
that in?
nav. So this side.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, we put it in our nav 1, and then we would tune to that approach course at 301. So on your OBS right here. Yep, OBS you're going to tune it to 301. Depending. Yeah, exactly. So depending where they vector you off, if you're coming from the south, usually that's what we do. We come out here to the ocean, we talk to approach, and we just let them know, SoCal approach, that's not whatever our tail number is. So we just let them know we want to get the ILS 30 practice approach in. They'll ask us to give us a squawk code, and then they'll start giving us vectors in there. If you get vectors onto an instrument approach, you don't have to do the procedure turn, or you don't have to do the hold that comes into there. If you get vectors in there, you just go straight into the
And
approach.
the vector is literally they'll just tell you fly this heading, fly this
Exactly.
heading, fly this heading, and then they'll just be right on final
Exactly.
course. Or?
Yeah. So, they won't put you exactly onto the actual final course. What they'll do is they'll usually, so let's say approach course is 301. What they'll probably do is give you like a 360. So you're about to so you kind of intercept that actual approach course there, and they'll just say practice approach approved. And what you're going to do is just basically once you see that needle start to come in, that's when you know the approach is coming in. So. At that point, once you see that needle coming in, that's when you know you're established on the course.
They gotta tell you you're cleared for the approach first, though, right?
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
if they don't, that's like a typical question.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. You have to hear the words cleared for the ILS 30 or cleared for the practice approach.
I think what I learned was that on your way in, if they don't say cleared for the approach and they give you radar vectors, if you are about to approach the approach course, you should you see it coming in. That's when you should query ATC and be like, hey, are we cleared for the approach? And then that's if they say yes, then you start turning aligned with.
Typically what happens when they tell you clear for the approach, they know that you're coming in on the approach course anyways. Once you hear that, you can make your turn automatically.
Okay.
But you just have to hear those words cleared for the ILS or whichever approach you're doing, or clear for the approach. Once you hear that and you see that localizer needle start to come in, that's when you can make your turn in and get on course to what it is.
Cool. Question, avionics stuff. So this is just your VOR and this is your glide slope, or how?
No, so the OBS actually, this one is nice about it. It will show you your localizer and your glide slope.
Okay.
So when you're coming in, at first it's going to show your localizer, right? Your glide slope won't come alive until you get to about the final approach fix. So what first is going to show is, let's say you're coming in from the south, right? You're going to slowly start to see it coming in, and until you intercept it, and you want to obviously have it where it's in the middle, right?
Yeah.
As you come in, as you get closer, typically the glide slope will come in when you get to your final approach fix, which is at this point is gunny.
We know it's a precision approach because it's an ILS, and that means it has a glide slope.
Exactly, yeah. Non-precision approach don't have vertical guidance. So yeah, you have gunny will be your final approach fix. As you intercept gunny, you're gonna see that glide slope start to come in too. It'll come from the top, come to the bottom down, and then that's where you have vertical guidance and you have horizontal guidance. So you just want to just keep those needles centered in both the up position and on the side position there.
And this is purely your VOR?
That will be your cross radial.
Cross radial.
On the ILS, if you don't have a GPS, which in some of our planes we don't, we'd have to use a cross radio. So what we would do,
Seal
Seal Beach, we would put nav2 on this, so on this one doesn't show up, but here we put nav2, we would put Seal Beach frequency 115.7, and then we would put the radio 196
On the 2.
on the OBS2.
Okay.
On the OBS2, yeah.
OBS2 196, you put it in, and then as we're crossing
Yep.
Seal Beach VOR, it'll.
Exactly. As we're crossing that radio 196, that's how we identify our final approach fix gunny. So we would just have 196 as this starts to come in, and it gets centered. That means we're now crossing that one, and then we could descend down to our minimums.
Okay.
So yeah. So on the ILS, what would be our minimums here?
The 258 and 18, so 258 feet above, and I forget it's 18. I forget.
Yeah, it's 1800, and what this basically is RVR. That means runway visual range.
RVR.
Runway visual range. So 1,800, that's typically about that's actually pretty low. That's like less than half the statute mile visibility.
So that's going to be like past the touchdown point,
Right.
plus like 800 feet.
Exactly. Yep, exactly.
And the 258 feet, that is, you are coming down at 258 feet, and you go, okay, well, we don't see the runway, go back up.
Yes, absolutely. So that's a very, very important thing you have to know for your check ride too, is what is your DA, your decision altitude? 258. And
And it's a
the
DA
big-
because it's an ILS.
Exactly. Yeah. If it was a localizer, it would be an MDA.
MDA, and then
So
DH is on.
Decision height. That would be decision height. Just depending on different approaches, sometimes it's pretty much means the same thing as DH and DA. But just make sure that you know the difference between the DA and MDA. DA, your missed approach point, is always going to be your minimums,
Okay.
258. So if you don't see the runway at 258, go full power, go missed right away. MDA would be your localizer frequency, right? So what we would do when we get to the final approach fix, we will start our timer, and at 90 knots descent, we're gonna wait till 3 minutes and 8 seconds. So let's say we go down, right, and then we're going down, and we get to 520. This is an MDA, so what we do, we just put in about 2,000 RPM on that, and we just stay level right there. We're gonna stay level until we hit this time of 3 minutes and 8 seconds. If that time comes in, and at 520 we still don't see the runway, then full power missed approach.
So you're saying, so say that again, at 90 knots, you are hitting 308
Right.
minutes,
Right.
and then at 520 feet
We're at 520 feet.
We're
You're gonna
just
stay level right there
until.
until we hit that 3 minutes and 8 seconds.
When do we level off?
At 528 or 520. You're gonna
So
go down-
anywhere on the localizer. So like you could be 2 miles, a mile out, or whatever, and then you 520.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And the reason we're doing that is because we don't have vertical guidance for the localizer, right? How do we know when to stop descending?
Yeah.
Well, we gotta stay at this 520, and then we're gonna stay there until we get to 3 minutes and 8 seconds, depending on if we have 90 knots the whole way descend. Let's say we get a little fast, right? Let's say we get to 100. Well, then we're gonna have to reduce that time approximately to about like 2 minutes 50 seconds around there. We're getting a little slow. Let's say we instead of 90, we're at 70. Well, then we're gonna have to kind of just find a number that's in the between, right? But best way to do it is just to be at descent at 90, and then we're gonna have to time that too. So once we get to our final approach fix at Gunny, then we start our timer and we start our descent.
So it's at Gunny that the 308 applies at 90
Exactly.
knots.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
okay.
shows it right here too. So final approach fix to missed approach point.
4.7. If you have DME as well, you can use that.
Yep, you can use DME too. So localizer DME, that's what it shows here. Actually, no, this one doesn't have DME, so it's ILS or localizer runway 3. If it has DME, it will say there. So it'll say like ILS or localizer DME runway 30. So
Okay, so you couldn't use. Oh, that's just a reference then. 4.7.
yeah.
Okay.
Let's see here. How do you identify the final approach point on this?
The Maltese cross.
Good. What does this mean right here? These numbers with the
That's
two.
you can't 4,500 up to and 1,600. That's like the bottom. I
Good.
can't.
Yeah. This will be your base altitude 1,600 and 4,500 will be your tops.
For the top of the approach.
Right. Until you get to the final approach fix. What does this number mean right here?
1,600.
Yep.
That's the altitude you should be at when you intercept Gunny.
Good. What are the ways you can see your missed approach instructions? Like, show me on the plate where you would.
You have your description up here,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have a brief summary of how to do it right there.
Good. And you can also, they give you like an illustration here as well how to do it there as
On
well.
the plan view, right? That's
Plan view, yeah. That's on the plan view. This is your profile view over here. Let's see here. What does this mean right here?
That's your minimum safe altitude. So in the vicinity of the Seal Beach, SLI, VOR, 25 nautical miles within it, these are the altitudes that you have to be above if you need a minimum safe altitude. So
Right.
in an emergency situation,
Yeah.
right?
So let's say you're coming in from the north, you're on a heading of 180. What is your minimum safe altitude?
180, 7,700.
Good. Let's say you're coming from the west and you're on a heading of 080. What's your minimum safe altitude?
080, 4,400.
Good.
And that's to be used if you're in an emergency type situation, lost comms,
Absolutely.
for example.
Absolutely. And you have a 25 nautical radius from the Seal Beach vortex to actually, where it applies. What does this mean right here?
That's your Malzer. The A5, I would look at the guide for it, so I don't remember the exact, I haven't memorized the names of them yet.
Yeah, just medium intensity light approach.
And that's what we'd be looking for to, as we're hitting our DA, if we see
Absolutely.
that, we can land, right?
Exactly, yep. Yeah, so that would be under your 91-175. Have you gotten a chance to kind of look over that? Yeah, 91-175.
The, is that in reference to the approach requirements that you need to land coming in? Or-
Yes, yeah, that would be that's when you could descend below your minimums.
And it's kind of a gray area sometimes.
Yeah, so let me kind of just show you. Part 91. Uh, 175. Okay, so right here, operation below your DA or NDA. So this is when you can go below your DA. So first thing, aircraft has been positioned where you can descend to landing on the intended runway using normal maneuvers. So just coming descend at a normal glide slope there.
Standard instrument approach.
Yep. Flight visibility is not less than the visibility prescribed. That we saw that on the profile view as well. And then here just has all the equipment requirements available for Category 2, Category 3, and then approach light systems. That's what we're kind of talking about too. If you see the approach lights, then you can go down below your minimums. And then you can't go below 100 feet above the touchdown zone unless you see those red ending bars, or the approach lights for that too. Red terminating bars or the red side row bars. Or you see
These
see
are all
these
things that
too.
you
Yeah,
can-
so your threshold markings, threshold lights, your runway lights, runway threshold, runway lights, and your touchdown zone lights, runway touchdown zone markings, or touchdown zone lights on there, runway lights. So.
Are these things that you should suggest memorizing as things that you can visually see?
Absolutely. How would, because I know on my instrument check rate, he asked me about 91-175. So when can you go below your minimums? And you have to you don't have to know the whole 91-175 by heart, but you have to know when you can go down. So you tell them, we have to go down with visible, or we go down with normal maneuvers. We can't be below our visibility minimums, and we list all these kind of stuff right here, and that should be good enough for your instrument check rate. So good. Yeah, we got that. Let's go back here. Let's see. Let's say we have to do a miss approach, right? So we're going down here. We're climbing to 800, then climbing left turn to 3000, and holding 200. LAX 4 TAC and radio 1550 pattern intersection, DME and hold.
As you're flying the approach, so say that we are going to go miss, we're flying the approach. Those things aren't loaded yet, right? So the second we go miss, we're going to be doing our go around procedure, and then we're going to be automatically starting to tune in our whatever we need in regards to the local, the VORTAC and
Yep.
stuff, because during the climb, I'm assuming, right?
Mhm.
That's kind of
Yeah.
the best time to do it. And
Exactly.
so
yeah.
workload's a little high. But
So we could do that too. What we could do, since we already have Seal Beach in the number 2 OBS,
Mhm.
we will find our instructions. Right, missed approach, climb to 800, then climbing left turn. Since we already have that in the OBS 2, we would just put Seal Beach radio 210 to identify the intersection, right? And then we would put LAX in the number 1, which is tuned 113.6. Tune it to 145. You follow that radio until it starts to come in. Fly heading 145 when you're coming down here, and then when OBS 2 starts to come in for the radio 210, then you can fly your hold.
that makes sense with a parallel entry, it looks like.
Let's see here. We're coming over here. Yep. Yeah, it'll be parallel entry, or you could also do a teardrop. But parallel or teardrop works. But yeah, that's good that you actually know the actual entries too for your hold. So that's good. Let me see what else we can kind of identify here. What would be like your initial approach fixes for this approach?
Oh, it says so. You have mids as one,
Yep.
as kill as two, gunny as a third. Whatever it says, instrument approach is Lucig one. Its initial fix.
Initial fix, yeah, that's one as well.
Okay.
So you got that. Let's see here.
And those initial approach fixes are ones that connect you from the en route chart
Exactly.
to this.
Exactly, yeah. But as far as like for what we're going to be practicing, like VFR practice approaches, you don't have to worry about that. With almost every single time, they'll just vector you onto the final approach course. So.
But in regards to flight planning, you have to.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
Is that the real world? Is that most of the time they'll just vector you in?
Most of the time, most of the time,
Especially
but
in
you,
SoCal?
yeah, most of the time. But sometimes you have to be, you have to be prepared unless they don't. So most of the time they'll just vector you on there. What does this T mean over here?
Oof. It's very familiar, but I can't remember at this moment.
So non-standard takeoff minimums.
That's right. And then the alternate minimums.
Right.
Is the A.
Non-standard alternate minimums. So for Part 91, we don't really have to worry about non-standard. That's more for Part 121 and 135. But basically, what it's just saying is if you have one or two engines, your takeoff minimums are 1 statute mile. If you have more than two engines, it reduces to half a statute mile. But yeah, that's for Part 121 and 135. So it doesn't apply to
So
us.
for the T, it's
Non-standard takeoff minimums.
and then it's you said it's what was the numbers again?
If you have one or two engines on your airplane, it's 1 statute mile visibility. That's your minimum
For
for
minimums.
takeoff. Yeah. If you have more than two engines, it reduces to half a statute mile.
Does that mean that's not what's on the chart, or because this is obviously the approach?
No, this is
for-
the approach. Yeah, this is just letting you know this is for takeoff in case you're flying IFR too.
Okay.
Yeah. Non-standard alternate minimums. So what would be like your alternate minimums, your regular alternate minimums?
802 for non-precision,
Mhm.
and then 602, 601 for the precision.
It would be 602.
It's 602.
Yep.
Yes, 802, 602.
Good. When would you have to file an alternate?
When your minimums at the airport of intended landing are not forecast to be 3,005, like VFR on the way there.
So
Right.
what I like to do was it's really easy to kind of just remember is 1, 2, 3.
Oh, 1,000 feet.
Yeah. So no, it would be your 1, 2, 3 roll. 1,000 feet, or the one is just basically 1 hour before after your intended arrival time. Your visibility is 2 miles
And 3,000 foot ceiling.
and 3,000 foot ceilings.
I remember.
Exactly. Yeah, it's 3,000 foot ceilings.
I've heard of that one before.
Yeah. So if your primary airport is below that, then you'll have to file an alternate. So that's an easy
And
way to remember 1, 2, 3.
Two alternates or just one alternate?
One alternate. One alternate.
When do you have to file two? Is it when your
Let's-
second airport is?
Yeah,
Under
I think,
two?
let's say if it's under 2, yeah, let's say you go to the airport, you go to your alternate and it's below those alternate minimums as well, then you have to file for a third. You can just let approach know that your alternate is below the minimums too. They'll just let you know, okay, where do you want to file your alternate? And they'll go back to you there.
Okay.
So good. Yeah, let's see here. Yes, yeah, we can try an approach. Let's go to, let's put in Long Beach. We'll try the ILS 30.
I'll grab some water.
Yeah, sure.
the tower?
I'll let you know. Usually they hand you off like when you get on the actual approach. So like once they vector you on, you turn for final there. Then they'll be like, all right, then
Switch
Cessna 257 Alpha Tango, contact Long Beach Tower, and they'll give you the frequency and you change.
So it's basically once you're established on,
Yeah,
or
pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much when you're established on the approach.
Can you expect it at like right after Gunny, or like basically at
No,
Gunny,
it'll be
or-
before. It'll definitely be before Gunny.
Oh, okay.
So let's say you're flying right here, right? They give you a heading of 300. They'll be like Cessna 257 Alpha Tango, turn left heading 360, descend and maintain 1,600 until established, clear to ILS 30. Then you repeat that back, you turn, and then once they say you're established on the approach, they'll be like Cessna 257 Alpha Tango, contact Long Beach Tower, 120.5.
Once we're established, and then
Yeah.
they'll be like our guide down on Gunny.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're just gonna fly the approach. You fly exactly how we're talking about, and then they'll just like once you're getting past final approach fix, they'll be like Cessna 257 Alpha Tango, cleared to land runway 30. That's it.
Cool. Do we tell them we're at Gunny when we're there?
No, we definitely just let them know that we're on the approach. You just tell them we're on ILS 30, and then that's all you really have to tell them.
Okay.
All right. So let's go ahead and unfreeze this here. Let's just fly the heading for now 270.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready.
Sure.
All right. All right. So fly heading 270 for now. Let me put you down in altitude.
Oh wow. Whoa.
You know, I'm putting you.
Oh yeah. I was like, what the hell's going on?
I'll put you at 2,000 for now. All right, so speed 85, 2,000.
Okay, 2,000. So this would also when you would have like you know freezer for that.
Yeah.
Is when you have your approach on your knee, right?
Yep, you're gonna have it on
Okay,
there.
it's
You'll have the approach plate on there, ready to go. ILS 30, and then you can kind of just see where which 4-flight do you have, by the way? Do you have the regular, the
I have the
Pro?
one above it.
Pro? Oh, that's actually
So
even better.
basic, and then
Yeah, I need to upgrade it too, man, because I only have this one. It's really nice about that one. It'll actually show where your airplane's at on the approach plate.
I have that.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. It actually helps you a lot.
yeah. See, there's this.
Yep, there you go. Perfect. All right, so we got that. So I'll go ahead and freeze you here, and I'll start tuning off into the approach.
Cool.
All right, Cessna 257 Alpha Tango, turn right heading 330.
Turn right heading 330.
Actually, I'll use that tail number right there.
So whatever your call sign
yeah,
was.
let's actually do Cessna 257 Alpha Tango, turn right heading 020, or Cessna 1 Charlie Alpha Golf.
Cessna 1 Charlie Alpha Golf. Turn left heading 220.
Right heading 020.
Right heading 020. And I would also bug.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, you can bug it too.
Just like let's see. And this is in simulation of we are vectoring to
Right,
final.
we're getting vectored to the final. Yeah, so just flat hold that heading and all that I have to do for now.
Goes down just a little bit. So that's why it's nice when you're like in this point, then I'll be thinking, okay, what's my next? I'm
Yeah.
waiting for. So where are we at right now? We're waiting to intercept the.
Yeah, we're waiting to intercept the localizer right now. So we're just south of the localizer, and then you'll start to see like they start to come in right now once you're getting closer to it.
Is it supposed to be like deflected one way or the other way?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out too. Oh, well, actually, we have it on GPS mode. That's why too. So let's put it to. There it's on VLOC now. It's still not moving over.
You might have to do it on this thing, right? On the actual screen.
No, because it's showing VLOC here.
Oh.
Let's see if it doesn't. Yeah, if it doesn't work, I'll just have you. I'll just simulate the actual like communications, and then I'll just show you in the plane if it doesn't go through.
I get the concept of
Right.
it. Though.
Yeah.
And then you want to start turning when you're about like what 2 to 4 degrees.
Yeah. So
knots?
they'll tell. Yeah, just do about standard rate turn. So I'll let you know. But they'll also tell you too. They'll be like Cessna November 1 Charlie Alpha Golf, 4 miles from Gunny, turn left heading 360, intercept the final. And yeah, then they'll kind of give you a position report too where you're at.
And if we do enter visual conditions when you're actually flying, you would do visual, right?
No, you still fly the approach.
You'd still fly.
Yeah. Unless approach gives you a visual approach, but they won't change it. Like if you're already doing the ILS, we're not gonna change it. They'll just keep it there. And for the visual, you need to have the airport in sight, or also the front aircraft as well. The aircraft in front of you in sight. Yeah, so it's actually not coming in, so I'm not sure why it's doing that, but I'll just simulate it for you. So, Cessna November 1 Charlie Alpha Golf, turn left heading 360.
Left 360, 1 Charlie Alpha Golf.
Alright, so yes, we're flying this heading right now, 360, and then we're just left of our localizer. So at that point, you would see this start to come in. So it wouldn't be centered here. At this point, it would actually be over here, and you would slowly start to see it come in there.
Coming north, the airport's like over here, right?
Yep. Cessna November 1 Charlie Alpha Golf, turn left heading 330.
Turn left heading 330, 1 Charlie Alpha Golf. Maintaining 2000.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see why using a GPS would be.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely be helpful for sure.
Because you can focus on other things.
Yep, and then you can. What's nice about the Garmin too is you can load the approaches on here, so you'll have that pink line coming down too. You could actually. It's actually really nice to have the GPS in there. So, but if we don't, then we'll have to use cross radios.
So I can understand how flying the approach.
Yeah. So this one here is. Don't worry if you can't get it right away. This next one it's kind of long, so you'll get it, but it just takes practice. So. Cessna November 1 Charlie Alpha Golf, 4 miles from Gunny, turn left heading 330, descend and maintain 1,600 until established, cleared ILS 30.
4 miles from Gunny, turn left heading 3, we'll have to get the number.
300.
300, established on localizer, maintaining 600.
No,
Or-
so it was, you got most of it, that was pretty good. So you basically turn left 300,
Turn left 300,
yep, and then you're going to descend and maintain 1,600.
descend and maintain, that's what it was.
Yeah, descend and maintain 1,600 until established, and then cleared ILS 30. That gives you the clearance to go down to 1,600 when you're established and start the actual approach.
I would also like jot something down on a little notepad as
Yeah,
well.
you could, but after a while, like those callouts, they become very predictable. You kind of know before what they're going to be saying. So
300.
yeah, 300, and at that point you would be on the localizer. You'll see it kind of straightened out there, and then you see it on your GPS, or you can see it across when you cross Gunny, and then at this point it would be like Cessna 1 Charlie Alpha Golf, contact Long Beach Tower on what was it 120.5.
What was the 4 nautical mile thing?
Yeah, 4 nautical miles from Gunny. So this is letting you know your position.
It's telling us where we are.
Yeah, telling us where we're at. Yeah, it tells us that we're 4 miles, south of the final approach fix, or southeast of the final approach fix. So yeah, we can go down 300 down to 1,600, and then they would hand you off the tower at this point. It would be like Cessna 1 Charlie Alpha Golf, contact Long Beach Tower 120.5.
Yeah, give me some nose down.
Yeah.
Struggling a little bit.
Yeah. There you go. Might be a little too much.
Anything better than
Yep.
barely descending.
Yeah. So yeah, at that point you can change over to Long Beach Tower. So we go here, and then what you're going to be telling them, you just tell them who you're talking to, who you are, and what approach you're on. So you just be Long Beach Tower, Cessna 1 Charlie Alpha Golf on the ILS 30. and then they'll just
that's
they'll just say back Cessna 1 Charlie Alpha Golf clear to land 30, or they'll just say clear for the approach 30 or continue approach.
You tell them 1600.
No, you don't have to tell them that. You just let them know which approach you're on, and then they'll go from there. But yeah.
So November 1 Charlie Alpha Golf. You say established on? Not yet.
Yeah, you can say that.
Established on the ILS 30 localized.
Yeah,
Long
30.
Beach.
Yeah, ILS 30 Long Beach. And then they'll be like, Roger, Cessna 1 Charlie Alpha Golf, continue approach. You just tell them continue approach, 1 Charlie Alpha Golf. Cool. And then yeah, you just go down to your minimums. Once you see the runway, you can go ahead and land.
And so now we would be established. So, right? Because obviously we don't have this.
Yep.
But
Yep. And you would be established on
You'd
there.
be
Yeah, you would
descending.
have the OBS there, and you would be descending down. Once you've reached the final approach fix gunny, then you can go down all the way down to your minimums. Cool.
200, 1900.
Yep. Yep. And that's pretty much it. Then you would just go all the way down to your minimums. Once you see your minimums, you look up. Do you see your runway? Do you see your approach lights or anything that's on 91-175? Go down, and once you're clear to land, you can clear to land on 30, and then that's pretty much the approach.
And then we'll go 258. So we would literally just fly this until we hit
Exactly.
258.
Exactly. So, yeah, we go all the way down to 258. At this point, you know your localizer would be alive, and your glide slope would be alive once you hit gunny, and you just follows all the way down. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I expected it to be.
Good. Yeah, it's a lot at first for sure, but you know after some practice, like on our flight, we'll go down to Long Beach, we'll try it, and then yeah, you know you'll get it once after a few times.
You know, go a little bit more nose down. I'd rather pull back than push forward.
For sure, yeah.
It's a little bit easier.
Yeah. All right, you're about 900 feet now. Maybe a little bit more. Also, you could reduce a little bit of power. Will help you too. Do it down to like 1500. Will help you out. There you go. Yeah, because right now you're like at 100 knots, so you wouldn't want to be like at around 90. And then yeah, once you pass the final approach fix, you do your before landing checklist. So you can put mixture forward.
Gums.
Yep, gums checklist. Yep, flaps 10 and below 110, and carb heat on if you like.
And how far do you start doing that?
You could do it right before your final approach fix or right after it, around that range though, around your final approach fix. I like to do it before, so once you get past your final approach fix, you're just worrying on flying the approach. You don't have to worry about doing your before landing checklist. It's already out of the way. So I like to do it before. Alright, and then it'll be like Cessna 1 Charlie Alpha Golf, clear to land on 130.
Just go one, try that to go, clear around, number 30. So we go down.
Yep, we're going down.
258.
And we also call our minimums, so like we're 100 to our minimums.
100 minimums.
Yeah.
We're waiting for like probably 60,
Yeah.
270.
Yeah, 260, exactly. I would probably start looking up around like if it's 258, about 270.
No, we
So
don't
about
see the
now,
runway.
look up. Yep. Yeah, if we don't see the runway, go missed. Full power, go missed. If we do see the runway, just continue and land. Cool. So that's good, man. I think we got the basics of it. I'll just freeze this for now. So yeah. So biggest things is just be aware where you're at. The biggest thing too is just kind of brief your approach place. So if you're coming into an airport, it's always good to we'll be doing that too. Before we come into an airport, we're always going to brief the approach plate. So we'll come in here like when we're in cruise or whatever, we're on the way over here. We do our approach checklist and we'll talk about it. So there's no surprises before we actually get there. We're really aware of what we're doing, and then we can vector on there. We know exactly what we're doing there.
And so what are you looking for when you're briefing the approach?
So what we did, we just we give you an overall review of it. That's how I do it. We're looking at the ILS 30 into Long Beach. Get the important things done first. Localizer frequency 110.3, approach course 301. So we're putting this in the nav 1 and we're putting this in the OBS 1. Runway length 7415, touchdown zone elevation 38, airport elevation 60. We're going to take a quick glance at our notes section. Don't really see that. We're seeing 4 ANOP ALS, increased straight and localizer CAT CD visibility to 1 3/8. Medium approach light system, read or missed approach instructions. We have to get our ATIS too. Oh, that's an important thing too, is get our ATIS when we're out there too.
At what point would you want to try to get the
As
ATIS?
soon as you can. The sooner the better. Yeah, I would even want to do it before we even get vectored on.
Just like a normal
cross-country
flight.
Exactly. Yep, same thing. We can put it. We have an approach in our frequency. We can put Long Beach Tower in our backup, and then once we're on final two or we're on the approach, we can do ground, but that's not. We don't have to worry about that. We would talk about our final approach fix, which would be gunny intersection. If we're doing the localizer, we would put our cross radio in there if we don't have the GPS there. And then we talk about our minimums. So we're doing the straight in ILS, 258 our minimums with 1,800 RVR. Let me turn this off too, so we're not getting any more time. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, like I said, just be aware where we're at. If we're coming in from the north, just kind of expect a right turn onto the localizer. If we're coming into the south, expect a left turn coming into the localizer. But yeah. Biggest thing is just get set up. The biggest thing with the instrument is just to make sure you're ahead of the airplane, getting everything done before you need to, so you're not doing anything like last minute, But yeah, that's pretty much it. So good first lesson, man. I think we did more than the basics today. When we get out to the plane, we'll definitely do this ILS 30 since you're familiar with it or a little bit familiar with it. We'll give it a couple tries, and then if we do good there, we can go into like maybe Torrance, do a few other approaches in there too. So, sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what's the next plan for simulator still? Are we going to go
No,
outside?
I think we should probably go on the plane. That'll be next. I think you did really good with the basic stuff. It's pretty simple, right? As far as that stuff. Yeah, just
I understand it pretty decently.
Yeah, good. So, yeah, that's very basic stuff. We'll get on the plane. We'll go out to the practice area, Long Beach, kind of do the same things for a little bit. Do the basic instrument flying. Once we got that down, we'll call up approach, let them know we want to do the ILS 30 practice approach, and then they'll set us up how we're talking about it. They'll give us vectors onto the localizer, and then we'll start there. Don't worry about doing it like right away. I'll help you with most of it for the first ones, and then yeah, we'll try it a couple times. We do good there. We'll try to do maybe one of the localizers or the RNAV into Torrance, and then we'll come back to Fullerton. Okay.
The RNAV into Torrance. So I should be preparing GPS stuff.
Yeah. GPS stuff. So
what plane are we using? Do you know?
Let me know once we're done filling out your logbook. Let me know when you're available, and I'll try to get the plane with the GPS in it. Okay. So the Torrance here.
430, because I like GPS stuff. I got to read up on because I'm not 100% versed.
Yeah. I can kind of go through with it before we start the plane too. Yeah, so RNAV, this is area navigation. This is based on GPS.
Same stuff, waypoints.
Same stuff, yep. Waypoints here. LPV, that's going to be your vertical and your horizontal guidance. It should be considered a precision approach because you have vertical guidance as well, but technically it's not. But LPV, yeah. LNAV, VNAV, it's also you're getting it's not precision, but you're getting vertical guidance. That LNAV is just lateral, so it's not precision, and circling minimums are there. So
why is the LNAV higher than the LPV? I mean this one, the LNAV and VNAV versus the LPV.
So LNAV it's higher than your LPV because it doesn't have vertical guidance. And then this one, your LNAV, VNAV, I'm not sure exactly why it's LNAV, because you have literal and vertical on that one, but that's a good question.
Oh, LPV has WAS.
Yes, correct.
That's what it is.
Yes,
it's
correct.
The wider
yes, exactly. Yeah, wider augmentation systems are good.
I remember my own question.
So yeah, but yeah, overall good first one. We'll kind of do the same thing in the plane this time. We'll try some practice approaches, and then we'll see how it goes. Sound good?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so let me just go ahead and just turn this off. Let's do this off. Quit here, got that. Let's go ahead. You can turn that off or we turn that off, so we're good. Radio master off, battery master. Cool. All right, let's get your logbook out. I'm gonna write some information.
Leave the keys in it.
Yeah, you see the keys in there. Yeah.
Thingy maneuver.
46.6.
Oh yeah, because it tracks the actual time too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
So Gary was telling me too, since like there was a couple of times where we were just talking about approach plates where you weren't actually using a simulator. I'll kind of round it down a little bit. So it's like 1.3. We were talking for a little bit too, so I'll just put it for like 1.1 for today. Cool. And this is this your sim side right here?
Say again?
Is this your sim side or is this your flight?
That was flight. So
Okay,
yeah,
let's go back. Where do you push your sims at?
I
Haven't done any?
haven't done a sim.
Okay, I'll just put it in the back here for now.
I did a sim once, but I didn't log it.
Okay,
So
alright, no problem.
I should probably log that time. Huh?
Yeah, it would be good. It's not necessary. No, you don't have to, but it'd be good to have it.
So you say designate like a couple pages for the actual sim?
Yeah, exactly.
or-
I just leave a few pages in the back just in case. In an instrument, we're going to be doing a good amount of sims, so yeah, just kind of put it towards the back there.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I was thinking for the commercial,
Mhm.
there you have to have 10 hours of instrument instruction dual,
Mhm.
and most people I was reading most people forget to during their instrument
Yeah.
make sure they have dual time for their commercial.
Yeah.
So is there a way that we can incorporate that 10 hours as well, just to make sure that I have the requirement done already for commercial?
So you are going to be doing commercial. So
Yeah.
I think the regs actually show for instrument you need to have 15 hours of dual. Let me just see that. But you're talking about commercial, right?
Yeah, I was listening to a DPE podcast, and he was talking about how he gets commercial applicants that come in and they don't have the 10 hours dual. That I forget the FAR that's required under, but they have a bunch of time for instrument, but they don't have the actual 10 hours dual specifically for the commercial rating.
Okay. This one here, like this one shows you. I also recommend downloading this too. It's called Pilots Cafe.
You just
IFR.
text it to me, right?
Yeah, I'll text it to you. This one here, it shows here you have 50 hours of cross-country PIC, 40 hours of actual or simulated instrument time, which 15 hours with the CFII.
Yeah.
So that would be like, that would meet your requirement right there.
But I think that was for training for the instrument. And then the commercial one, like you have to write in the logbook that it's
Okay.
for commercial
Yeah.
for the 10
Let
hours.
me look it up. I'll look it up tonight for sure, and I'll see and I'll get back to you. I'll text you and let you know.
I'll do more research too.
Yeah,
so we can-
definitely. But yeah,
up on it.
I'll look it up tonight and I'll text you
Cool.
what we need to do. All right.
Sounds good.
Make and model. So this is a BATD. So we're just in view here for K4. Okay, so instrument approaches, instruments time, FTD or simulator. Okay, we'll just put in 1.1. And flight total duration, total flight time. No flight time, we'll just put FTD simulator. See, it turns to headings.
And you're marking all these under what CFII reg for training?
It would be under, let me see here.
You write it in the
Yeah.
books, right?
Right.
I eventually want to get all my instructor stuff too, so it's like
Yeah.
I want to learn.
Yeah, it's a lot of endorsements for sure. Can you actually look at mine? Especially with a lot of these logbook entries, I still look at mine just to help me with the actual stuff. So it should be instrument rating requirements. Yeah, so it's going to be 61, 65. India. Yeah, 61, 65. And 6121I. I think this is what you were talking about, right? For commercial pilot, 61-129. It's like saying it's showing your 10 hours of instrument training using a view limited device, including attitude instrument flying, partial panel skills, recovery from usual flight attitudes. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
And it's
so
like most people, if they show up to the check ride and
Mhm.
they didn't have those hours done,
Yeah.
he would look for like proficiency checks or checkout
Okay,
flights and
got you,
stuff where he
Got you.
yeah
Yeah, so this is the way it was shown in my logbook too. It's under instrument 6165 and also as your commercial aeronautical experience 61-121 129. So it actually does
So
count
if you put
towards
both, okay.
Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put both in there for you.
that's something that the stumbling block
Yeah,
was
for sure.
people when they
Yeah,
show up.
definitely.
Thinking ahead, right?
Absolutely, yeah, it's good. 61, 65. India. I need to get a pen with a finer more point because I always take up like 2 spaces. I think Staples has one of those good pens like that, but cool. Yeah, ATD here. We just did it here in Fullerton. 1.1 logged in, and I put the rest of it to qualify for instrument and eventually commercial too.
Cool.
So got that in there. So we got that. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up the instrument ACS so we can kind of look at what we need to kind of go through. Let's see.
What are you looking for in the ACS to show me specifically?
As far as flight time, so what do we have to cover to know exactly what you're going to be tested on your check ride? So yeah.
I know how to read the ACS too, so if
Okay.
you need me to do some like home research and
No,
stuff.
for sure.
I can
No,
do
yeah,
that.
ACS is pretty straightforward. It's really nice because you know what's going to be tested of you, but we kind of want to just go over it just so that we know exactly what we need to do. So instrument ACS. Okay, so I'm just gonna look at as far as the ground stuff, we can do that later. But as far as like flight by reference to instruments, so that's kind of what we went over today. Just going over the basics on that. It's elements required to attitude instrument flying during straight and level climbs, turns, and descents, while conducting various instrument flight procedures. That's kind of what we did today. So big thing here is we're looking to maintain 100 plus or minus 100 feet. Headings plus or minus 10, and airspeed plus or minus 10. Bank angles plus or minus 5 degrees during turns. Cross checks, so yeah, just want to make sure that you know how to cross check. Interpretation is a big thing too, so they'll kind of ask you like, so let's say your attitude indicator is pitching down and your airspeed is starting to build. Like, what do you think is happening with the plane? Kind of stuff like that. Appropriate pitch, bank tap power, and trim corrections when applicable. So that's kind of what we did today. Recovery from unusual flight attitudes, we talked about that too. So the kind of thing too, just kind of remember the procedure. If you see all blue on your attitude indicator, full power, pitch down, level the wings, wait for that airspeed to build up, and then cruise to cruise, You look up, you see nothing but brown, power idle first. That's the biggest thing because your airspeed is starting to build up, right, when you're going down like that. So power idle, wings level, and then pitch up slowly, and watch that airspeed start to bleed off again. Right? So that, navigation systems, so yeah, this would be your VORs, VOR DME, how to track courses, so that's stuff that you did in your private pilot stuff too, so we'll kind of go over that as well on that. Navigations, departures, en route, and arrival operations, so that's kind of something that I guess you should probably start looking at next is en route charts, low en route charts if you haven't already. That'll be a good thing to do, so we'll kind of go IFR en route low. And yeah, kind of just looking what kind of all these stuff means. Your MEA altitude, your MOCAs, your AROCAs, crossing altitudes, minimum reception altitudes. Kind of just know which each of them mean and the kind of reception they have for each of them. you kind of look at these, like this is your MEA, that's your MOCA right there. You have your MCAs, which are going to be important as well.